Hi, it's Gary Grimes here from Simpli Finance, and today we're on site with Cara Energy in their training and innovation centre based out here in North Dublin. I'm with Phil Healy, who is the head of strategic development at Cara Energy, and I've known Phil. We've worked together for two different companies now together. So, Phil, tell us a little bit about Cara Energy.
Hey, Gar. Thanks very much. Cara Energy is a solar installation company, so provision of residential and commercial PV installation. We also do car chargers and supply and installation of electric radiators, which we buy from our parent company, which is EcoVolt Limited. EcoVolt is a separate company run by Stephen Dempsey, the managing director. He's over both companies. They kind of run independently of each other. So I'm only here about 8 months now. I know Stephen a long time. Good sector to be in now, the renewable space. Not a great time of the year for solar, but the RAD, it's a good time of the year for the RAD installs and stuff like that. So it's exciting. Yeah.
One thing I wanted to ask you, Phil, I seen on LinkedIn last week you were talking about doing the solar energy for the schools.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit more about that and what you're actually doing, and if there's anyone watching out there that might see it for the school that's looking to get that energy.
Yeah. Well, the government have brought in, I think it was back in November, a new grant for the schools for free PV installation up to 6 kilowatts. So there's a tender process going on. I think there's 1,600 schools who have registered their interest. So they have to contact companies like ourselves, and there's a tender document that needs to be filled out. You send the pricing back to school, and I think it's the end of March or April they have to come back with a decision. So it's a great incentive for the school, like with the way electricity prices and everything are at the moment,
So Phil, talking about Cara Energy and Simpli, so I said we've known each other from a previous company. We worked together on funding and finance, and there you moved over to Cara Energy. We had a conversation. Cara Energy was growing at a really fast rate, and we chatted about one of the challenges you had at that time was just working capital, be able to keep up with the level of orders that you were going on. Yeah. So just tell us a little bit about that particular problem when you had it. What was it in relation to the company's growing fast? What was the specific challenge around working capital that you had that you can remember?
Yeah, well, I suppose, working capital, cash flow is the lifeblood of all companies, and Cara is a relatively new company, as in it was only set up, incorporated, I think, about 18, 19 months ago. But the work that it was doing was done by EcoVolt previously, and it's just split out. So, as you know, when you split out a new company, it's kind of got its own cash flow and it's trying to stand on its own feet. So you're trying to drive business through marketing campaigns and hiring and buying in stock, and when you don't have the cash flow built up, it's quite difficult. So getting the finance was vital for us to be able to buy new stock in order to meet the demands of the leads that were coming in, because we had a very good lead generation campaign. Leads are coming in, and we needed to make sure we had enough stock.
And the solution that we discussed was, because Cara Energy didn't have a long trading history like EcoVolt did at the time, we were able to identify that a lot of the income for Cara was coming in through debit and credit card. Yeah. And we were able to build a solution based around the strength of the debit and credit card income coming into the business, which then gave you a renewable facility. Yeah. So that was one that we wouldn't have been able to access through the banks, for example.
Yeah, so absolutely.
It's key to mention. I always I use the phrase "keep it super simply" in Simpli, because we've tried to develop this process that is a simple process. I'd love to get your own feedback on how you felt the process went from, initial conversation, gathering documentation, presenting the solution, and then the after side after that. So
yeah, I suppose it was a little bit easier for me in terms of I had a background in that space. I worked in the banks for a long time and in finance houses, so I understood the requirements. But it was all kept very easy, especially for me coming into a new company. I didn't have the time to go looking for the finance myself, and obviously we've dealt with each other before. You just send me a quick email of what you need, I get it sent to you, and then I don't hear from you until you get the offer pretty much. You might have a couple of questions, that's what I like. I don't like to be bombarded with questions. You kind of understood the business before asking the questions, which is good.
So tell us, the original solution that we put in place, how did that impact the business from a cash flow perspective? How did it help?
Yeah.
And tell us from there. So how did the loan impact the business positively? And go
I mean, the facility you put in place was a great cash flow facility, and I hadn't used it before. In terms of the way they take payments out of your account on a daily basis, it really worked for us because you're kind of only paying as you're earning. So it allowed us to keep that cash there. We were able to buy more stock and able to take on more clients. So it just helped grow the business that bit easier, and it allowed us to build up some cash flow of our own by having that cash flow facility there.
And tell us more about the growth of Cara Energy. You're 2 years in now.
Yeah, we're just under 2 years now. Yeah, and it's like we were doing up last year. We were doing 5 solars a week. So prior to that, we were only doing maybe 2 or 3. We're up to 5 a week now, 1 a day. We're hoping to take on a new crew soon enough.
Brilliant.
We're getting big into the commercial side of things now. So heretofore it's been kind of residential. But the commercial space is what we're targeting more, and we did some recent commercial jobs for Action 24 and Thorn Environmental, which were great, you know, and they're nice big projects. We've a good few more in the pipeline now, just waiting to get decisions back. They're kind of a slower burn, the commercial, because it's a bigger outlay for the commercial house, but they have a great incentive now. The grants, you can get up to like 162,000 on a grant for commercial.
Very cool.
And we also partner with one of the lenders to offer finance for them as well. And on the residential side as well, we do that.
And we can mention that, and that's
Finance Ireland.
Yeah, so we partner with Finance Ireland to present that solution to clients that don't have the upfront capital to do it.
Exactly,
so it doesn't eliminate them from actually getting it. It gives them the opportunity to get out there and get it done, which is brilliant.
Yeah, 100%. And the residential side, it's great. Like, you know, they do a loan from the 1 to 10 years, you know, so it can be a very small monthly outlay for them. But we found so far that most people who are ringing for solars actually have the money put aside.
Yeah.
They've already accounted for that investment. But the finance side is great to have, and they have that on the commercial side as well. So.
And if I was to ask you, if you were recommending Simpli to another client and why they should use a Simpli service, what would you, if I was asking for 2 reasons why you would say you would recommend us, what would that be?
Firstly, I have recommended a load of clients to you. Secondly, is that you're very easy to deal with. As you say, you keep it simple. You have direct access to all the lenders, which most people don't have. So it takes them forever to actually try and find out who they need to be talking to. Then their application can get lost in the system sometimes. So when you're dealing with you directly, you know, you just hand over the information and then you get it done. Like, you know who you need to talk to, you know how to present it. And where I think some companies will fall down is that they don't present their information properly to lenders.
That's true.
And they can get a decline on that basis, or nothing for now. So you know how to present it, which is important.
Making the story make sense.
Yeah,
it's about telling the story and making the story make sense, which can be easily overlooked when you're an incredibly busy business owner, already managing 52 different things that week.
Yeah.
That's great. Look, I really appreciate that. And then for Cara Energy, so we're hoping this video will go out on a couple of different networks, our LinkedIn network, our Instagram.
Yeah.
Anyone watching this, if they're looking at solar in the future, what were they looking for? Talk about Cara Energy, what service Cara Energy can give anyone, and why they should consider you when they're going forward.
Yeah, well, look, I mean, Cara, you know, we're getting a lot of 5-star reviews on Google and stuff like that. We have a really professional team out on the road now. Like, we have the infrastructure in place, we have all the vehicles lined up, we have a great partnership with our suppliers, with Focus Energy, with Falcha Solar, with Midsummer, you know, so with a really good relationship there. We use tier 1 panels only. We have a head of operations, Paul Crowley, who looks after everything on the ground. He's been in this game for a long time.
Brilliant.
So the roofers we have, everything, it's a very professional team, very courteous team. Everyone's well looked after. We're always on the phone. We have a customer care team if anything goes wrong.
Brilliant.
And we're just available for people. Like, we try and offer the best service possible, you know, which is the way about it, you know.
Phil, that's brilliant. That's pretty much everything that we wanted to get from you today. From ourselves and Simpli, Cara Energy are one of these companies that is just another example of how sourcing the right funding solution for a business can help in their growth. The product that we provided them didn't replace banking facilities, it just went in aside the banking facilities that they already had as a good complement. And that's something that we can replicate for clients across the country going forward. So, myself, Phil, and the Simpli team, thank you very much for everything.
Yeah, no problem at all.
And if you want to find out more from Phil about what a Tier 1 panel is, for example, and about how their product can help you save money in the business and how they can help fund and finance that, we'll include Phil's contact information in the post when we send them out. And other than that, thank you very much and keep it super Simpli.